How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Rowlitz, and to a brand new video, guys. Today, ladies and gentlemen, I thought we'd take a look at the latest rumor for Pokemon's Pokemon games for the Nintendo Switch in 2020. As you guys know, this year we got Sword and Shield, but there's a high possibility next year will also bring us a new game, and so there are rumors right now, and as you guys know, it is essentially my job to cover these and talk about them and give you guys videos about these subjects. So if you guys do enjoy this video, as per usual, drop a like down below, as that would be appreciated. But as you guys may have noticed, the last few years for Pokemon have been kind of intense in terms of release schedule. They feel like they've been kind of rushing games out ever since X and Y, because honestly, if you look at it, right, there's only been 1 year since since X and Y. It's been 1 year they've essentially missed of actually publishing a game. So look at it like this, right? We had 2013 X and Y, 2014 Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Then 2015 was the year they didn't do anything, right? It was a skip year. Nothing was put out by Game Freak in that year. But then 2016, and this is where literally we've just not been stopping so far. So 2016, Sun and Moon. 2017 was Ultra Sun and Moon. 2018, Let's Go Pikachu, Let's Go Eevee, and 2019, this year's Pokemon Sword and Shield. That's 4 years in a row of Pokemon mainline releases, right? That isn't really that common usually, because in the past they used to leave at least a few years, like a year or two, between each release. They used to do it, at least, in the past. But over the last few years, over this decade essentially, ever since I guess Black and White, Black and White 2 and whatnot came into fruition, it's honestly been a non-stop release schedule. So it wouldn't be surprising to assume that next year will also bring us a new game. And so that's why I'm covering these rumors, and I'm assuming next year is going to be Diamond and Pearl remakes. There is a chance it's going to be maybe a Sword and Shield follow-up game, like Sword and Shield 2, or Mega Sword, Mega Shield, or whatever. Just like the generic kind of a follow-up game type thing, like what we had with Sun and Moon and then Ultra Sun and Moon, right? So that's the high possibility. Now, we have here a rumor that was posted on 4chan, which will pop up on the screen, which actually goes through what it might be happening. It's basically, the post is from Professor Maple, so not sure what the deal is with that, but hey, it is what it is. But here it is, Diamond and Pearl remakes. Now, we're going to go through this one step at a time and see what it has to say. So, Game Freak is already working on the next games of the franchise. So far, codenamed Lustrous Pearl and Iridescent Diamond. That is a strange name, and also kind of difficult to say, so I'm not really certain about that being realistic enough for that to be the name, because I feel like they'd want to go for something easier to say, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, right? You can easily pronounce those and say them. I think a child can easily say those, right? Hey mom, I want Omega Ruby, Omega Ruby, or I want Alpha Sapphire, right? It's way easier to pronounce, right? Sure, they're still long names and still kind of generally difficult words, Omega and Alpha and whatever. But still they are pretty much, a lot easier to put out there. But when it comes to these two, Lustrous Pearl actually is somewhat easier to say, but then you got Iridescent Diamond. It just seems a little bit off. So I'm a little bit like this on the actual names of these quote-unquote remakes. Now, apparently this guy says it is not a remake, but a revisit to Sinnoh 30 years after the original Diamond and Pearl storyline. So I'm kind of intrigued by that. I actually kind of would like if that's the case. I'd love for us to just get there, in the future. Though I would have also preferred, I would way more also prefer just a normal remake, with just the same gym leaders, same professor, same gym leaders, same, everything. I would actually, I wouldn't mind that just being the case. But I've got nothing against this being some sort of follow-up, right? And a future version, this is a sequel essentially, right, to Diamond and Pearl. Now, not sure if that is the case, but here's what he says though. So, apparently, it is not a remake, but a revisit to Sinnoh 30 years after the original Diamond and Pearl storyline. You start off your journey at Floroma Town. Your rival, Maribel or Lucian, visits you from their hometown, Urberg City, with their partner, Apom. So, that's where I'm already starting to be a little bit strange at, okay? This is where it's already starting to be a little bit oh, I don't know, man. So, starting off your journey off from, Floroma Town, I mean, honestly, it wouldn't be that odd, because it isn't that far into the game, I would say, that it would jeopardize, the flow. But at the same time, why would they switch the starting town? That makes no sense. That, logically speaking, makes no sense. Why would they do that? I can't really think of any time they've changed, if any of the remakes, that they've changed the starting town. I don't think they didn't do that for Fire Red Leaf Green. They didn't do that for Heart Gold Soul Silver didn't do that. Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire didn't do that, so why would these games do it? Even if it's some sort of, like, you know, future iteration, why would they do that? I mean, even Black and White 2, you know, which were quote-unquote, like, you know, essentially sequels to Black and White, right? Like, they were sequel games to those games that literally continued the you know, put the kind of, not franchise, but rather the story in a future setting. Even those didn't go the decision of, like, being like, hey, let's just move the starting town to insert other place, right? It didn't, I mean, wasn't the case, so I don't know why they would do it here with these games. It just doesn't seem, like, logical, but hey. Doesn't say that the rival is going to be Maribel or Lucian. Names seem reasonable, though I can't see, like, how they would be, like, I don't know, connected. I mean, it is what it is. Who visit you from their hometown, an Orbo city with their partner Apom. So either one of them is going to have an Apom. Now, Apom has now a different design and is a fighting type. So they're talking about, like, Sinnoh forms, whatever, like some new forms. You're both greeted by Professor Maple, and who is visiting Floroma to learn more about Pokemon living near honey trees. Okay, I'm not sure that has any connection to anything, but alright. She gifts you and your rival with starters after helping her find a Munchlax through a minigame, which sounds like a fun little thing, though hopefully it wouldn't be something like, you know, uninteresting and just kind of like lame, but who knows. I mean, you never know with these sort of things. I don't know, man. Like, nah, I don't know. It just doesn't seem, I don't know. Now, this is all I saw in the rough early development footage. The development team has a lot of new ideas for this reboot, so I'm not sure why he's calling. I mean, a reboot doesn't make any sense, right? Like, why would it be a reboot? It's not like they're restarting the whole franchise based on this one game. It's just a remake. But the development team has a lot of new ideas. New forms for all Pokemon brought by changes on Sinnoh's environment over those 30 years. Now, this again, like, this sounds like something Game Freak would do, right? Like, this sounds like something they would do. Just be like, oh, you know, we have Galar forms! Hey! It's very nice! We got Galar... No, sorry, not Galar forms. We've got, like, Sinnoh forms. Hey! It's because the environment changed over the 30 years of time that passed. Woohoo! Right? They could probably pull something like that. Like, they could definitely pull something like that. This is Game Freak we're talking about. It wouldn't be too out of the ordinary to expect them to do something like that. But I don't know, man. It would still be... I don't know. No plans for national decks, but the Sinnoh decks will be revamped with new additions, forms, and Pokemon. So no plans for national decks. That again would be annoying if that is true, because there's literally no reason not to do that. Now that we essentially have proof that they can do it. Completely new story, and a lot of plans for post-game, including the return of contests and the Battle Frontier. Now, this would be wishful thinking, assuming that that would be a thing to return, because I loved contests when I played that back in, like, Ruby and Sapphire, right? I loved them. I thought contests were awesome. The Battle Frontier, you know, in later games, like, what, like Platinum or whatever, wasn't as good as the one from Gen 3, but still was, you know, there. So, I don't know, man, like, it just feels to me like when it comes down to this, like, it's all about will they or won't they do these things? Will they add these things? Because they didn't have the Battle Frontier in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, as you guys know. It wasn't there, right? It was not in those two remakes. So, me hearing this makes me happy about the possibility of this, but this is a rumor, again, so nothing here can be taken as is all be all, right? But at the same time, God, I really wish that they would do that. I really want contests to return. I love contests, and Battle Frontier, man, like, would just be, it'd be perfect. It would just be amazing. But who knows? And also, I'm really curious, if this is in the future, who's the evil team, right? Who's the evil team? Are we going to be in the distortion world again? Or will we enter the distortion world and find, like, Cyrus or whatever there? Or, like, what's the deal with that? Like, I'm kind of curious about the general, like, implications of this being in the future. Now, some of the new designs I've been able to look at were future Apom and Shinx. Apom likes to arm wrestle, and Shinx is a cute ice type with big teeth. I was also able to see alternative evolution concepts for the starters. There are supposed to be branched evolutions, keeping the old Infernape, Torterra, and Polion trio, but adding a new set of final evolutions. That would be sick if that is true. Chimchar has a, has a branched fire/dark line, Piplup has a water/ice line, and Turtwig has a grass/ghost line. That would be sick if true. And I was able to see alternative evolution concepts for the starters. They're supposed to have branched evolutions. I'll be posting more info as the game develops further, but hey, I'm gonna be honest, this sounds like cool shit. Like, this to me sounds like pretty interesting. I'm really curious though how they would pull off like a future, like a, you know, a future jump, like a jump in time. Like, all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're here, and then it's like, oh, guess what, the remake's like 30 years later. But why would you do that? Like, ORAS didn't do that, right, did it? Because we still had, like, the same professor, the same characters, essentially, you know, Brandon, May, etc. We still had the same stuff there. The same inherent base stuff was still there. Why would this thing go a different way? Why would this make the leap into a different kind of side of things? Why would you do that? It just inherently doesn't make any sense to me. So I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, what do you guys think about this? Do you think these make sense? For me, the biggest issue is just the future jump and also the name, because it's just kind of hard to say. Like, Lustrous Pearl, I can say that easily myself, right? Lustrous Pearl. But I cannot even myself personally say Iridescent Diamond easily, and I think for marketing and for, you know, for children to be able to pronounce it and understand it, and, you know, because when I was in the store the other day, right, I was in a GameStop the other day, just buying some random stuff for, like, my siblings, and I was there, and I just see, like, I hear in the back, actually, no, I wasn't there, no, I was actually there with a friend who was buying stuff for his family for Christmas, and I guess I think I picked up, like, something, I think I picked up, like, one of these, like, Roblox gift cards from brother, but that's besides the point. But I hear, like, in the distance, like, a kid just, like, coming up to, like, the clerk and asking him, like, you guys have Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield? And he's like, yeah, we do. And I was like, okay, yeah, fair enough, makes sense, kids still play Pokemon, right? But then that also made me realize another thing, right? These kids need to understand how you say those names, right? Pokemon Sword, Pokemon Shield, Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, Pokemon Emerald, Pokemon Platinum, Diamond, Pearl, right? These are easy names to say. Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, right? They're easy to pronounce and easy to remember, easy to say, whereas Lustrous Pearl and Iridescent Diamond, just a little bit difficult. So, I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section down below, guys. What are your thoughts? What are your opinions? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.